Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 7 p.m. on LA56.
An 80-year-old woman terrorized in her own home. She was tied up while robbers ransacked her house.
A report of a hostage situation on a college campus. Police shoot a suspect and take him into custody, but no hostage has been found.
I'm so excited to finally have this behind me.
A salon owner speaks out after being found not guilty of a murder-for-hire plot. Good evening, I'm David Ono.
I'm Ellen Leyva in for Colleen Sullivan. Welcome to Eyewitness News on LA56, LA's only live local newscast at 7 p.m. 3 suspects have been arrested after a home invasion robbery in Tustin today, where the elderly homeowner was tied up. Orange County Bureau Chief Eileen Fair has more on the victim's frightening ordeal.
Police say the suspects pried open a sliding door, then spent at least 15 minutes inside the Tustin home. 15 terrifying minutes for the 80-year-old homeowner.
She's very scared. She's very scared.
She was at home alone in her residence. She told us she heard the doorbell ringing several times. At that time, did not answer it. She then was startled to see one suspect inside the residence.
A second suspect helped tie the victim's arms and legs. They then made demands.
They came her house and then they want her money.
The house was completely ransacked, yes. Mattresses overturned, drawers pulled out.
The suspects then stole the victim's Lexus. The victim called 911 and made it across the street to ask for help to get untied.
She rang the bell and then she talked to my husband and said, "Oh, would you take it out?"
Police believe the crime was random, which makes it even more concerning for neighbors of this quiet cul-de-sac.
It's very quiet neighborhood, you know. I live here 21 years already, so I never happened anything like this.
About 2 hours after the home invasion robbery here, LAPD arrested 3 suspects. Police say that they were standing outside of the stolen vehicle, the victim's vehicle, in Los Angeles. They were arrested. Police say they also recovered some stolen property. In Tustin, Eileen Frere, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
An armed suspect shot by police at a local community college. It happened earlier today at El Camino College in Torrance. It all started with the suspect called police several times saying he had a hostage at a parking lot on campus. When officers arrived, the suspect pointed a gun at police. 2 officers opened fire. There weren't any students in the area where the shooting occurred, but all of this has people very concerned.
Obviously, there needs to be some improvements in security. I mean, if someone can come in campus, I mean, this is a community college, so I mean there are a lot of people here who probably don't even go to the college, but someone with a gun, I mean that's something different.
The suspect is a man in his early 20s. He was taken to a local hospital in critical condition. No hostage was found.
No, at 7 o'clock, Marvin Norwood, one of the 2 men convicted in the beating of Giants fan Brian Stowe, pleads guilty to federal weapons charges in the downtown LA courtroom. Weapons and ammunition were discovered in a search of Norwood's home before his arrest in 2011. He was taken into federal custody last February, just before he was due for release in the Stowe beating. Sentencing was set for May 7th. He could face up to 10 years behind bars. Norwood's co-defendant, Luis Sanchez, is also scheduled to plead guilty to weapons charges next week.
A West Hollywood skin care specialist has been acquitted of charges she plotted to murder a rival beautician she mistakenly blamed for stalking her. Eyewitness News reporter Miriam Hernandez was there as Don DeLuise was set free.
For 10 months, she was behind bars. Today, her first breath of freedom. What went through your mind when you heard that verdict?
Honestly, how soon can I hug my daughter?
Prosecutors had accused West Hollywood salon operator Don DeLuise of trying to hire a hitman to murder a business rival. The people's case included text messages and emails with alleged racial and homophobic slurs aimed at her competitor. DeLuise's defense was that she was venting, and for a reason. Evidence showed someone had photoshopped her face onto lewd pictures and posted them at her business, her home, her daughter's home, and online. They included her phone number and an invitation that she wanted to be raped. That is what motivated the text, says her lawyer.
I think that the jurors realize that sometimes we say things out of frustration. Sometimes we say things when we're upset that we don't necessarily mean in the heat of passion.
No, we did not feel it was a serious plot at all, actually. And a lot of things were just kind of inferences, but it was never a serious plot.
The prosecution had claimed that DeLuise solicited Chris Guiley, a former NFL lineman, to act as hitman. He denied that on the stand, just as he did in an exclusive interview with Eyewitness News.
She was going on and on about certain things as far as what was happening as far as stalking. But as far as doing anything about it, no. She just came at me from a point of, I don't know what to do.
The investigation confirmed that while DeLuise was being stalked, it was not Gabriel Suarez, DeLuise's competitor. All a misunderstanding, says her lawyer.
I'm just so excited to finally have this behind me. And I really look forward to being with my family.
DeLuise did not want to talk about any details in this case. That is because there is a separate case pending, the one investigators are pursuing against the actual stalker. Reporting from Del Air, Miriam Hernandez, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Thousands of protesters are taking to the streets of San Pedro tonight, rallying against a slowdown at West Coast ports. Air 7 HD was over the scene just moments ago. Longshoremen say the 3 million jobs cut nationally depend on these ports, and they want a resolution soon. The last labor contract expired in July, and since then workers' hours have been cut by the Pacific Maritime Association. Aside from a tentative agreement over the summer on health care costs, there have been no publicly announced breakthroughs. Contract talks taking place in San Francisco are expected to resume tomorrow. New 911 audio from the horrifying moments as an Orange County condo complex goes up in flames, killing a mother and her child. The fire broke out Tuesday in San Juan Capistrano. A 3-year-old child was killed. His mother died later at a hospital. Orange County reporter Greg Lee spoke with the victim's family, who say the woman spent her last moments desperately trying to rescue her son.
She really loved him, so it doesn't surprise us that she did everything she could and tried to save him.
Lily and Dora Sanchez fought back tears while talking about their sister. 20-year-old Marcela Sanchez died last night from major injuries she suffered during a condominium fire in San Juan Capistrano. Marcela's 3-year-old son, Jaden Laborio, died Tuesday from similar injuries. Her 2-year-old son, Iker, remains in critical condition.
She just always wanted to see them happy and try to do everything for them and give them everything.
Do you see it or?
Yeah, and the apartment's full on flames. Like, I see people in the apartments right next to it that are still inside.
Today, authorities released the 911 tapes, people calling to report the Tuesday morning fire. Firefighters say a child playing with a lighter sparked the blaze.
What are you guys reporting? That there's a bunch of family that live in the house and they're still trying to get the occupants out? Okay, yeah, we're on the way. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
The family says Sanchez's 47-year-old mother-in-law remains in critical condition after jumping out of the burning home. Fire officials say 17 people shared the 4-bedroom unit, and there were no smoke alarms.
Please ask everybody not to make any assumptions or judge anything because they are not at fault.
While 2-year-old Iker fights to survive, Dora and Lilia say the whole family continues to mourn the death of their beloved sister and nephew.
All their memories will always be with us, and all the times they made us happy. We just want to remember that.
UC Irvine Medical Center is collecting donations for the family to help them with funeral expenses. In Orange, Greg Lee, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
All right, let's switch gears, talk about a weather, get ready for some winds, dry, hot weather. Here's Jonathan.
You got it, David. We got a little bit of everything in this forecast. Let's start with what happened today and a beautiful time-lapse from Angeles National Forest. How about that one? I've got some more of these coming up later on in the newscast, so you want to stay tuned and get some really nice sunsets, in fact, as you head over toward the beach areas. But Almanac today, 75 in downtown was our high. Just a smidge warmer than we've been seeing here recently, and those temperatures are going to go way up heading into the weekend. So we've got the warm weather there. We've got some winds kicking up. Right now it is calm, though. They've taken a break. It was a little breezy earlier today in places like Van Nuys, where winds have calmed down. Things have calmed down tonight, but things will pick back up with the winds as we go into the weekend, and all these temperatures will start warming up big time. We have Santa Ana's in full force. I'll tell you about that. And also, finally, some rain to talk about in your 7-day forecast coming up in a few.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. 10 days to go until the Super Bowl, and tonight, New England's Patriots superstar quarterback Tom Brady is facing the cameras and answering some tough questions surrounding Deflategate. ABC's Ryan Smith has the story.
Tonight, football's golden boy, grilled.
You know, obviously, I'd like to know what happened, as you all would too.
Tom Brady, bombarded with questions about ESPN's report 11 of the 12 balls his team used to beat the Indianapolis Colts were underinflated, a violation of NFL standards that some call cheating. Today, Brady was asked point blank, are you a cheater?
I don't believe so. I mean, I feel like I've always played within the rules. I would never do anything to break the rules.
Brady is one of football's biggest stars, both on the field and off. In his 13 seasons as starting quarterback with the Patriots, he has helped make the team one of the most profitable in the league. leading them to the Super Bowl 6 times with 3 wins. Today, Patriots head coach Bill Belichick said Brady picks the footballs he's going to play with.
I had no knowledge whatsoever of this situation. Tom's personal preferences on his footballs are something that he can talk about in much better detail.
Brady then explained his pregame ritual.
You go through that process of breaking the balls in and getting comfortable with them. Of course, I choose the balls that I want to use for the game, and then, that's what I expect to go out on the playing field with.
The balls in Sunday's game were approved by a ref more than 2 hours before game time. Experts say the only time they could have been deflated was in the final minutes before kickoff or during the game on the sidelines. Touchdown! So I wanted to see how long it could take to do just that.
Just like that. What's that? 3-4 seconds.
Right. Brady says he had nothing to do with this. And in the Patriots locker room today, players telling me they can't distinguish between a regulation ball and a deflated one anyway.
Can you tell the difference between a ball that's 2 pounds lighter?
I wouldn't even know, man.
So you can't tell that difference. Me personally, no. When you hold that football, can you tell the difference?
No.
Not at all?
No.
But one thing nobody disputes, this is an unwelcome distraction for the team with the Super Bowl right around the corner.
This has been a tough PR season for the NFL, and to have the Patriots, a team that is so visible but so often involved in these controversies, it's about as bad a scenario as you could see for the league.
Tom Brady says no one from the NFL has contacted him about the Deflategate issue, despite the NFL telling us they are investigating. When asked if Tom Brady will be questioned and who else has been interviewed, they told us they are not commenting on the details of the review at this point. Ryan Smith, ABC News, Foxborough, Massachusetts.
Well, more downer news for Lakers fans. Kobe Bryant has suffered another injury. He tore the rotator cuff in his right shoulder last night during a loss to the Pelicans in New Orleans. Happened during what appeared to be a routine slam dunk. Kobe has returned to L.A. to be examined and to see if he'll need surgery. We'll have more ahead in sports.
Tonight, new video that is causing outrage.
Take a look. One man says police tried to tip him out of his wheelchair. A closer look coming up.
Plus, Prince Andrew makes his first public appearance since being rocked by a sex scandal. What he's saying, plus what a new court document is revealing. And this.
Didn't want to turn my back on him. I was screaming and yelling.
A frightening encounter for a woman out for a jog when she is bitten by a coyote.
A San Francisco police officer is being investigated after claims he tried to tip a paralyzed man from his wheelchair. There's video of this incident. Bo Frierson says he wanted to help some friends Sunday who were being questioned by San Francisco police. Officers told him to leave. An officer says Frierson ran over his foot. The disabled man says he's not a threat to anyone and that the officer pushed him off the curb.
He was. He just tried to dump me out. You see a couple of times. Lucky for the seatbelt. Everybody wear your seatbelts.
You need to go.
Come on, Bo.
You don't run my foot over.
What if I would have just fell on my face? I mean, I could have died.
Frierson was cited for obstructing an officer. Police aren't commenting on the video.
For the first time, Prince Andrew publicly denies allegations he had sex with a 17-year-old. The American woman says she was forced to have sex with the prince as a teenager. ABC's Karen Travers has the prince's comments.
Prince Andrew finally breaking his silence.
I think I must want, for the record, to refer to the events that have taken place in the last few weeks.
He's talking about the allegations that back in 2001, he had sexual encounters with a then 17-year-old girl. In a statement to ABC News, Buckingham Palace denied the claims, saying any suggestion of impropriety with underage minors is categorically untrue. And in his first public appearance since the scandal erupted, Prince Andrew didn't go any further.
I've just wished to reiterate and to reaffirm the statements which have already been made on my behalf by Buckingham Palace. My focus is on my work.
A new court document gives more details on the alleged encounters between Prince Andrew and the then 17-year-old. In a 220-page court filing, Virginia Roberts, seen here with him when she was 17, alleges she engaged in sexual activities with the prince 3 times. Roberts claims that Prince Andrew's former friend, billionaire Jeffrey Epstein, forced her into having sex with the prince and many other powerful men, including politicians and businessmen. Roberts says her tryst with Prince Andrew took place in London right after they met, in New York City, and in the U.S. Virgin Islands when she was around 18.
Virginia Roberts said in the latest affidavit she hopes Prince Andrew will sit down with her lawyers under oath. Reporting from Washington, Karen Travers, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
A San Diego woman has a wild encounter during her morning jog. She was chased and then attacked by a coyote.
All of a sudden, I feel something bite my leg. I look down and, it's a coyote.
Janet Snook says that she was jogging at 5 a.m. Wednesday morning when she realized she was being stalked. She says the coyote was about the size of a German Shepherd and relentless.
Started running backwards because I didn't want to turn my back on him. I was screaming and yelling, waving my hands, try to make, as much noise as possible, and he would pause, and then he would keep running.
That's when the coyote bit her. Snook continued yelling until the coyote finally ran off into a nearby canyon. She drove herself to the doctor and was treated for a mild abrasion and shots to avoid rabies. Wildlife officials say the coyote is now considered a public threat, and it's looking at ways to remove it from the neighborhood. Snook says she's going to wait a few days before going jogging again.
Well, watch out for the winds coming our way. Jonathan Novak has
winds. We've got the temperatures going way up. Thankfully, it would actually be sort of, you can lament it, but next week we've got rain. So we've got, yes, sort of a light but lack of light at the end of the tunnel in this forecast. It's good. We've got some showers expected. But for today, hey, I mean, look at this. This looks surreal, doesn't it? This is amazing. Laguna Beach, time-lapse, really nice. Some clouds hanging around for today. It was mostly sunny, and it was a beautiful, warm day, 76 Camarillo. But look at some of the highs here as we head into Yorba Linda with 77, 51 Lake Arrowhead. Tomorrow, temperatures going up. Then we go through Saturday, they're going up even more, and even more into Sunday. 80s expected. For tonight, very mild across Southern California. Check it out. We got 60s for most of us. 62 Ojai, 63 Van Nuys, 62 Santa Monica. You head up to the mountains, Big Bear, Wrightwood. Lower 30s in Big Bear, Wrightwood, just there at 38 degrees underneath that 40 mark, and Palmdale's at 48 degrees. So a mild one tonight. Tomorrow, those temperatures are going to be even warmer because we have those winds kicking in, those Santa Anas as we go through tomorrow night. As a result of the expected winds being 45 to 55, even up to 65 for the gusts in the mountains. There's a high wind watch that has been issued. This starts tomorrow night, goes through Saturday night, so expect a good 24 hours, at least in the mountains, of some gusty conditions. For the rest of us, LA and Ventura County and the mountain areas there, maybe a little bit shorter in duration, but nevertheless, Saturday is going to be a windy one and very warm. Why? High pressure keeping us very warm, as it usually does, and around the high, those winds go clockwise, so you can see that direction would be right down off of those mountains slopes, and it gives us those gusty conditions, those Santa Ana winds, and as that air compresses, it warms things up. Again, into the 80s. You'll see that here in the 7-day forecast. So for tomorrow, relatively calm. A little bit of a breeze up there in the mountains, maybe 20, 25. But Friday night, overnight into Saturday morning, I stopped this at 1 a.m. Saturday. See some of these lighter shades of yellow in here? That's around 45, 50 mile-an-hour wind gusts already there Saturday morning. And that's going to last all the way through into Saturday afternoon. Again, I think in the valley areas, we'll probably start backing those off, and maybe some of the northern mountain locations, but expect a windy one for this weekend, and temperatures are going to be climbing. 52 in the morning tomorrow in LA, 52 Malibu, 31 Palmdale, and then highs tomorrow a little bit warmer than you saw today. 78 in Los Angeles, 77 Covina, 76 Pasadena, lower 60s up in the Antelope Valley. 7-day forecast, LA Metro and Orange County. The first half of the forecast is going to be the winds and the warm weather. And then we start looking ahead to some rain next week on Tuesday and Wednesday. So for this weekend, 81, 82 Saturday and Sunday, and a gusty wind up about 45, 50 miles an hour. Valleys, IE, winds up to 65, sort of the top end there, with highs reaching 80 to 81 on Saturday and Sunday, and then a 60% shot at some shower activity on Tuesday. Thankfully, it looks like the system is being picked up pretty consistently with all the information that we look at and break down, so that is good. Beaches is 78 for the weekend. Winds won't be too much of an issue, of course, for you, but we do have the rain in there for next week. And then let's head over to the mountains. Okay, cool and gusty. 65 mile-an-hour winds, and I think around San Bernardino County, Riverside County, in the mountains there, you could see gusts up to 75 maybe. Yeah, that's expected for Saturday afternoon. And Sunday a little calmer, but still windy. And then next week we're looking at rain mainly. There's a chance we see a little snow over 8,000 feet, but I don't think that's going to be likely. And even rain in the high desert next week after a breezy weekend and a warm one ahead. More weather coming up in a few. Back to you.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Yeah.
And up next, Will Ferrell's halftime hijinks at the Lakers game, the terrible half-court shot, and the cheerleader hurt. We've got the story behind the video.
And what the commanding officer at Guantanamo Bay's Naval Station did to lose his job.
The blue and gold braided beard on King Tut's golden mask has been detached during cleaning. Here's what the mask used to look like. Conservators at the Egyptian Museum in Cairo gave differing accounts of what happened. They said the beard was either knocked off by accident or removed because it was loose. Conservators say they were ordered to hastily glue the beard back on with epoxy to get it back on display quickly. They say the relic is now damaged and there is a visible gap between the face and the beard.
Uh-oh. Well, the best highlights from last night's Laker game in New Orleans might have come at halftime when Will Ferrell beamed a cheerleader with a basketball. You have to watch this, right in the kisser, too. Now, before you get mad at him or us, that cheerleader is actually a Hollywood stunt woman, and they were filming a scene in Ferrell's upcoming movie, Daddy's Home. The scene apparently calls for Ferrell's character to take one of those half-court shots, only he ends up winging the ball into the cheerleader's face and then getting escorted out by security. The story is the most popular post on our Facebook page, viewed more than 4 million times already, and you can't pull away
How
from
do
it.
you do that stunt, though, take a ball in the face? Who knows?
Let's try it.
We're now exactly 1 month away from Oscar night, and if you're hoping to win your Oscar pool this year, you'd better start watching all the movies before February 22nd. AMC Theaters is offering some help. They're once again doing 24-hour marathon showings of all the Best Picture nominees. You can watch them in a row the day before the Academy Awards. Or if you'd rather watch at home, a couple of the Best Picture contenders, Boyhood and The Grand Budapest Hotel, are already available from Netflix, Amazon, and Redbox. And remember, ABC7 is your Oscar station. We've got you covered on Oscar Sunday, February 22nd, with the live red carpet coverage. Then, of course, the show itself featuring first-time host Neil Patrick Harris, and then live coverage from inside all the biggest parties as your favorite stars celebrate Hollywood's biggest night. It's all right on KABC and the Watch ABC app.
We are updating the evening's top stories next at 7:30, including the latest on a violent home invasion in Tustin.
Plus, more teacher trouble for a local high school, why another teacher is on leave today.
And how close do you have to be to Selma to catch the measles? The answer might surprise you. Next, Eyewitness News on LA56.
live from ABC7. This is Eyewitness News at 7:30 p.m. on LA56.
Our top story at 7:30, an elderly woman tied up and robbed in her Tustin home. I'm Ellen Leyva.
No, David Ona, this is Eyewitness News on LA56, LA's only live local newscast at 7 p.m. 3 suspects were arrested just hours after the home invasion robbery. The victim said she heard her doorbell ring, but did not answer it. Moments later, she saw an intruder inside. He ordered her into another room where another robber was standing. She was tied up while the suspects rummaged through her home, taking off in her Lexus. Police later spotted the vehicle and now have 3 suspects in custody.
Suspect shot by campus police at El Camino College in Torrance. It all started when the suspect called police several times, saying he had a hostage at a parking lot on campus. When officers arrived, the suspect pointed a gun at police. 2 officers opened fire. Suspect was taken to a local hospital in critical condition. No hostage was found.
Another story that's getting a lot of attention. 2 teachers are arrested accused of having sex with students, and now a 3rd teacher is placed on paid leave over an alleged Facebook post that allegedly condones the 2 female teachers' sex acts with students. As Eyewitness News reporter Sid Garcia reports.
Students at South Hills High School say this is a picture of teacher Sean Patrick Kane. It's posted on the school's website. They call him a great teacher who always speaks his mind. What he allegedly wrote on his Facebook page about the recent arrest of 2 South Hills High School teachers for allegedly having sex with students got him suspended. The post, obtained by the Los Angeles News Group, says, quote, "You should have just kept your stupid mouth shut and enjoyed it." It was posted on Sunday. The district found out about it yesterday and immediately put Kane on administrative leave. Here's why.
The appearance of impropriety and probably condoning the behavior of the 2 teachers that are also out on administrative leave who were allegedly involved in sexual misconduct with students.
The district says it's investigating what action, if any, needs to be taken about the post. We went to Kane's home. He told us he had no comment on the matter. Students we talked to were split on whether the district did the right thing by suspending the art teacher.
If the district thought it was inappropriate, then yeah. If I would have found that, I would have done the same move.
I feel like you should be able to speak your mind on your own Facebook account. And for the district to get into it, it's just like, why? Why do you need to get into it?
One of Kane's former students and recent graduate says he can't believe, as he put it, all of the drama that's going on at his former school.
The academics were good. Our sports were good. Our teachers were good. We had good staff. I mean, it's a good school. It's just going on a downfall now, dude. All this is happening, and it's just making it look bad.
The district also confirms to Eyewitness News that it was served with a lawsuit yesterday by a former student. The student alleges that he was assaulted in a South Hills High School classroom last spring. In West Covina, Sid Garcia, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Police in North Hollywood say they believe a series of car burglaries in that area may be related. Surveillance video shows some of the burglars at work. Most of the target vehicles have been in underground garages, and police say the suspect look for easy targets like unlocked cars. However, they also break into vehicles. They say the same group may be responsible for up to 30 car burglaries in just the past month.
Michael Jackson's mother back in court today asking for a new trial in her civil suit against concert giant AEG. Attorneys for Catherine Jackson told an appellate court that jurors who decided last year's trial in AEG's favor were given an improper verdict form. Mrs. Jackson sued AEG, the promoters of her son's ill-fated comeback concerts, claiming that they were responsible for his death because they hired the doctor who administered his fatal dose of anesthetic. But AEG's attorneys argue the jury question that decided the case was actually chosen by the Jackson family's own lawyers.
Spread of measles continues. The Ventura County Health Care Agency confirms 5 cases in Ventura County. Officials say unvaccinated people who visited a Camarillo Citibank branch on Arneal Road between January 12th and 14th may have been exposed. This is the number of cases continue to rise elsewhere. Health specialist Denise Tador has the latest.
From Anaheim to Arizona, Maricopa County health officials say an Arizona woman in her 50s who tested positive for measles visited Disneyland last month. She has since recovered, but doctors remind us not everyone does.
I mean, encephalitis, pneumonia, otitis, diarrhea, death. It's not a benign disease.
Dr. Gil Chavez with the California Department of Health warns unvaccinated people not to go to crowded places where there's been a known measles exposure. Infants under the age of 12 months are too young to get the vaccine. That's why Dr. Chavez says we need to protect them.
Today, I am asking unvaccinated Californians
to consider getting immunized against measles to protect themselves, to protect their loved ones, and to protect the community at large.
To give you an idea of how easily you can catch measles, imagine that this is the virus. We know it spreads through coughing and sneezing. Infectious disease experts say it can stay suspended in the air for up to 2 hours and travel the length of a basketball court.
With this outbreak in the state, we can expect to see many more cases of this vaccine-preventable disease unless people take precautionary measures.
One way to measure your immunity, ask your doctor to check your antibodies or serum titers for measles. At White Memorial Medical Center, doctors perform this simple blood test on me. A numerical value of 0.75 means you don't have enough antibodies. Anything over 1.0 and you're immune. It turns out I'm protected with a result of 1.48. But doctors say you can skip this step. If you're unsure, just go ahead and get the vaccine.
I think it's more prudent that if you are really concerned about measles and you are not immunized, get immunized and then you don't have to worry about it.
Denise Tador, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
The vast majority of those who contracted measles did not get the vaccine. Doctors recommend children get the measles vaccine at 12 months and then a second shot between 4 to 6 years of age. Symptoms include cough and runny nose. And remember, you are contagious 4 days before the red rash appears.
Saudi TV reports that the leader of Saudi Arabia, King Abdullah, has died. The 90-year-old had been ill. He was a powerful U.S. ally and joined Washington's fight against al-Qaeda and sought to modernize the ultra-conservative kingdom. Abdullah's successor will be his 79-year-old half-brother, Prince Salman, who had recently taken on the king's responsibilities. The President Obama has expressed his condolences. He praised Abdullah for taking bold steps in advancing the Arab Peace Initiative and says he valued the king's perspective and advice.
And out of that scandal at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, one of the highest-ranking U.S. officers there suddenly relieved of duty amid allegations of an affair and a mysterious death. ABC's Martha Raddatz has details.
The U.S. naval base at Guantanamo is a town unto itself with more than 7,000 military and civilians. And tonight, that small Navy town has been rocked by scandal.
The base commander has been relieved.
The commander, Captain John Nettleton, helicopter pilot, Iraq war veteran, has been stripped of command after officials say the husband of his alleged lover was found dead. The Coast Guard discovered the body of Christopher Turr, a former Marine and father of 2, in the waters off base. His wife, Laura, had reported him missing the day before. There was no indication of suicide, but it has not been ruled out. Officials tell ABC News that it was in the course of the investigation they learned of Laura Turr's alleged relationship with Captain Nettleton. Nettleton's command did not include the infamous detention center. He has now been reassigned to duty in Florida until the investigation wraps up. Adultery is a crime in the U.S. military, but this case seems to go well beyond that. Martha Raddatz, ABC News, Washington.
High hopes but little progress at talks between the U.S. and Cuba on normalizing relations. This is day 2 of those discussions. Negotiators in Havana have put together a long list of issues that need to be discussed. They also say they'll need a second round of talks to resolve those differences. Administration officials are hoping for some kind of announcement before April's Summit of the Americas, which President Obama and Raul Castro are expected to attend.
Up next, the Hollywood pioneer celebrates a star on the Walk of Fame.
And Oscar-winning actress Anne Hathaway speaks out about the new project that is especially close to her heart.
If you thought the last few days were warm, get ready. Temperatures going way up, winds going way up, and I get some rain too in the forecast. A little of everything coming up in these 7 days.
A true movie-making pioneer was honored today with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The late Ray Dolby changed the way we hear things on the big screen. His pioneering work in noise reduction and surround sound led to the development of many state-of-the-art technologies. Dolby helped Oscar-winning director Francis Ford Coppola refine his sound for the movie Apocalypse Now.
I have this personal connection with a man who is, to me, a hero because he was an inventor, and I've always been enchanted by the stories of inventors. I always wanted to be an inventor. So here, in lieu of that, I'm here to honor Ray Dolby and wish my best to his family. So, my honor.
Star is located just outside the venue that bears the family name and home of the Oscars, the Dolby Theater.
Oscar-winning actress Anne Hathaway is headed to the stage. She'll team up with director Julie Taymor for the drama Grounded, a one-woman show about a fighter pilot who gets reassigned after she becomes pregnant. The off-Broadway show will begin in April, but first, Hathaway has a new movie in theaters, and entertainment guru George Pinocchio tells us about the new project that is especially close to her heart.
Like the flowers need the rain, you know I need you.
Oscar winner Anne Hathaway not only stars in, but is also one of the producers of the new romantic drama Song 1. The team who brought the film to life is a tight-knit group. Anne's been friends with the movie's director, Kate Barker Froyland, since they worked on The Devil Wears Prada together a decade ago.
The fact that the script came to me and my husband to produce by Jonathan Demme, who's been one of the most important people in my life and now my husband's life, and that the musicians wound up being our dear friends Jenny Lewis and Jonathan Rice. It just, I don't know, I care about all the movies I make, but this one, maybe it goes a little deeper. I'm reading Henry's journal, going to places he went to.
In the film, Anne plays a woman who's been working overseas but must return home after her brother is in a serious accident. Anne says most of her work as a producer took place before they started shooting the movie, so she could focus on acting when she needed to perform. Still, there were times she was called into action.
We were a very low-budget film, so we had some gnarly locations, and we were in this one spot in the bathroom. Smelled like it hadn't been cleaned in a decade, so I brought in some scented candles and cleaning products and things like that. So, I was that kind of a producer. I was like a mom producer.
Song 1 is the first movie venture for Hathaway and her husband Adam Shulman, but they do plan to do more.
Sure, why not? Why not do everything? You only get to live once, right? We don't have a set next one. We're kind of developing a few, but we don't have anything that's kind of in the near production phase. But I'm going to sound so cheesy, but he makes things pretty magical, so I'm sure we'll have a good time.
Song 1 is in theaters this weekend in limited release. George Pinocchio, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Rain in the 7-day. Jonathan Novak has his complete forecast coming up next.
And Tom Brady says he has nothing to hide and isn't afraid to clear the air in the Deflategate scandal.
And we are taking you to LA's first pop-up cafe. You'll find a lot more than coffee here, and you may find your new best friend.
A high surf warning in Hawaii with waves up to 40 feet. Hawaii is famous for big surf. Usually the big waves come in winter, and usually they break on the North Shore. However, right now these waves are coming in from the west. That means the waves are breaking in at places that don't usually get this big surf. High surf warning is expected to continue through tomorrow.
Time for Jonathan Novak's weather. You have all sorts of stuff for the
A lot going on. A quick trivia. Which of these numbers represents the high in downtown LA today, the wind speeds we could see in the mountains this weekend, and how tall I am in inches? 63, 75, or 88?
Yeah, we have time for
we got about 3 seconds.
63, of course.
75.
Ah.
75.
I'm 6'3".
Okay.
Oh,
I thought you
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right, let's
you
move
want
on
to go
to
with
the
that?
I think I'm shrinking then.
Let's go with it. Just, you know.
I'll go with it.
You got it.
They can't tell that at home. All right. 75 was our high, though. That is true. And we could see gusts of 75 in the mountains this weekend. Burbank, some high clouds making for a pretty good time lapse today. Yeah, that's probably closer, actually. It is, yeah. 64 in Burbank right now, and a mild evening around Southern California. 58 Ojai and 30 in Big Bear. Just dropped a couple of degrees in the last 30 minutes there. 64 Palm Springs, and now down in Temecula, it's in the 50s. High wind watch is in effect starting tomorrow night through Saturday night. 24 hours here. This is for the San Bernardino, Riverside County valleys, the IE, all the way down into the OC, and also the mountains and valleys of LA and Ventura County. We could see winds, I'd say in the San Bernardino, Riverside County area, in the mountains of potentially up to 75 for the gusts. Generally speaking, in the mountains, about 55 to 65, and in the valleys, 45 to 55. This will be a strong Santa Ana wind event. We have high pressure that is off to our west. We have low pressure that is off to our east, and in between, we see those strong winds coming down from the northeast. That is a warming wind, though. So while it will be gusty, the temperatures are going to skyrocket into the 80s for Saturday and Sunday, and it's all ahead of the next storm system I'll show you in a moment. But the winds tomorrow in the afternoon won't be too bad. All right, it'll be a little breezy in the mountains in the afternoon, but then tomorrow night, overnight, look what happens. Those northeast, east-northeast winds coming straight down off the mountains. This yellow shade here that you see over the mountain areas, all the way up here, up and down north and south through our area, that is a wind of about 45 to 55 mile an hour for those speeds up there, as you see here in our legend. So we could see that, or even beyond that, as you're going through 5 a.m. on Saturday, as those really kick in. And then I think they'll wane a little on Saturday afternoon for some of the valley locations, but in the mountains, man, it is going to be gusty all the way through Saturday night, and high temperatures will follow. Like this, 78 tomorrow, and then into the 80s in downtown LA for the weekend. Lower 70s tomorrow in the IE. The mountains are going to be mild, I'd say, as you go heading into the latter part of the forecast. And then some rain for everybody. So let's put it together here in that 7-day. The next few days, warm and windy. LA Metro and Orange County, gusts of 45 to 50, and then Sunday still breezy. And then next week, a chance of rain on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Valleys, IE, you've got a few days here, Saturday and Sunday, of some real gusty conditions and warm weather. 80s for the weekend, and then a 60% chance of rain next Tuesday and Wednesday. We're looking for some showers, finally. The beach, fantastic. 74 tomorrow, upper 70s on the weekend. The mountains looking like it'll be very gusty. Highs in the 40s and then into the 50s for Sunday, and some rain on Tuesday, Wednesday for you, and the high desert, which looks gusty as well as mild this weekend. That's it for me. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Jonathan, Mr. 6'3". If you subscribe to the saying there is no such thing as bad press, then the NFL is loving this week. It's usually a dead week for the league, but because of Deflategate, the Shield has been in the news daily. Today, the Patriots coach and quarterback had their turn to explain the mix.
I have no explanation for what happened. I was completely and totally unaware of any of this that we're talking about in the last couple of days until Monday morning. I have no knowledge of anything. I have no knowledge of any wrongdoing of any. Yeah, I'm very comfortable saying that. I'm very comfortable saying that nobody did it, as far as I know.
Is Tom Brady a cheater?
I don't believe so. I mean, I feel like I've always played within the rules. I would never do anything to break the rules.
Throughout Kobe Bryant's 19-year career, he's hoisted up 25,087 shots during the regular season and an additional 4,499 shots in the playoffs, totaling 29,586 shots. His rotator cuff was eventually going to wear out. On the 9th year anniversary of Kobe lighting the Toronto Raptors for 81 points, news came out that KB has suffered his third significant injury in the past 3 years. The Mamba tore the rotator cuff in his right shoulder during last night's loss to the Pelicans in New Orleans. Kobe says it happened on this baseline two-hand slam. Right here. Bryant is back in L.A. and will be going for further examination tomorrow to decide if surgery is necessary. If it is, he'll miss the rest of the season. Jeff Gordon says he'll step away from full-time NASCAR racing after this season. The 43-year-old Gordon has won 92 races, which puts him third on the all-time NASCAR victory list behind Richard Petty and David Pearson.
I always said that I wanted to step away on my own terms if possible. And I want to be competitive out there, and I would hope that I could do that all the way through my final year, and so this is the right time.
If Gordon gets bored and misses racing too much, he could always jump on the tricycle. He won a charity race earlier this month at halftime of an NBA game win in Washington.
If you're in the mood for some good coffee and some puppy love, we've got the place for you. It's a pop-up cafe in downtown Los Angeles that's offering both. Here's Eyewitness News reporter Mark Robles.
It's not hard to find good coffee in downtown Los Angeles, but once inside, you'll quickly realize this place is, well, different.
Hi, baby girl. I know, it's going to be a big day for you.
The Dog Cafe is trying to shake up the way people think about pet adoptions.
We're like a pop-up shop, but a pop-up shop. We're doing it for 4 days.
And on day one, customers are ordering up.
Who doesn't love coffee? So coffee and dogs is a plus.
Ellie and her friend Ivan drove in from Valley Village.
Make it fun and accessible and not just trying to find a shelter where it's, people can just come hang out and fall in love with the dogs. It's brilliant.
And even if you're not looking to adopt, you can come here, enjoy a coffee, and all the puppy love you can take.
Shelter dogs taken out of the shelter and put in a bright, happy environment without the bars. I think people have the ability to imagine them as their pets.
The adoptable dogs are from the Los Angeles-based dog rescue Wags and Walks. Organizers of the pop-up say too many dogs are overlooked in typical shelters, and many never get a second chance. This place can change that, they say.
Sometimes dogs can be super barky because they're super stressed out or super shy, so we're just trying to eliminate that whole factor.
For now, this pop-up is a business model. It's $15 to get in the door, money these animal lovers say is well worth it.
It gives these dogs a chance to have a new home that probably were either abused or just abandoned.
And again, the Dog Cafe is open through Sunday, 10 a.m. until 7 p.m. at 838 South Los Angeles Street in downtown LA. With enough support and funding, they hope to make this idea permanent. Reporting in downtown LA, I'm Mark Robles, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Oh, he's got some friends there.
Pretty cute.
Yeah, very
The one
cute.
you liked, he ran away when you let go of him, so not sure if it's still available.
Darn.
More news straight ahead here at 7:30.
And ahead tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7, a woman is robbed and kidnapped at an ATM. The whole thing is caught on tape. Tonight, how the victim managed to survive this frightening ordeal. And trendy or tasteless, the Super Bowl ad women find tough to stomach. Now, these stories and all the late-breaking news on Southern California's #1 late newscast, Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7. Thank you for joining us for Eyewitness News at 7:30 on LA56. Law and Order SVU is up next here on LA56.
And Eyewitness News continues at 11 p.m. on ABC7 and anytime on ABC7.com. Remember, you can get your news 24 hours a day by following us on Facebook and Twitter and by downloading our ABC7 app. We'll see you tomorrow night at 7 p.m. right here on LA56.
Good night.